Hi guys, in this video tutorial, we will discuss how to make autocomplete textbox in Node.js Express application with MySQL database and Vanilla JavaScript Fetch API.
We all know that autocomplete is the one most required feature in the web development.
Under this feature, when we have typed something in the text box, then it will provide list of suggestion related to query, which we have typed in the text box. So, this type of feature, we will make in Node Express framework with MySQL database. In this tutorial, we have taken example of country name. So when we have start type country name character, then it will display suggestion of different country name,
which has been start with that particular character, so this feature, we will make under this tutorial.
Now let's start discussing this topic. So this is our testing database. And under this, we have one countries table, with table column like it, country name and country code. And under this table, we have already inserted whole world country name data. So we will use this table for make autocomplete text box in Node.js. This is our working folder, and here we have already download and install Node Express framework. So if you have not know how to download and install Express framework, so for this, we have put source code link in which you can find step-by-step process for download and install Express framework. Now here, first we want to make database connection. So here, we have to download Node MySQL module. So for this, we have go to command prompt. And here, we have to run this command. So this command will download and install Node MySQL module. Now we have goes to text editor, and here we have to create database connection file. So here, we have create one file with name like database.javascript. Now under this file, we have to write constant MySQL variable is equal to require function. And under this function, we have to write MySQL. So by using this code, it will include MySQL module under this file. After this, we want to define configuration for creating MySQL database connection. So here, we have to write constant connection variable is equal to MySQL.create connection function, so this function will make MySQL database connection. And under this function, we have to define MySQL database configuration in the JSON format. So first, we have to define host for MySQL database connection. So in the first key, we have to write host, and in value, we have to write localhost. Next, we want to define database name, so for this, in the key, we have to write database, and in value, we have to write testing. After this, we want to define username of the MySQL database. So for this, in the key, we have to write user. And in the value, we have to write root. And lastly, in the MySQL database configuration,
we want to define password of the MySQL database.
So for this, here we have to write password, and in the value, we have to leave blank. So after define this configuration, it will make MySQL database connection. Now we want to execute MySQL database connection. So for this, we have to write connection.connect function. So this function has been used for create a MySQL connection. And under this function, we have to write one callback function with error as parameter. Now under this function, we have to write if statement. And under condition, we have to write error variable. So this condition will check if there is any error occur. Then it will execute if block of code, and under this block, we have to write throw error, so it will display database connection error. But suppose there is no any error occur, then it will execute else block of code. And under this block, we have to write console.log function. And under this function, we have to write MySQL database is connected successfully. And lastly, we want to publish this MySQL database connection. So for this, here we have to write module.exports is equal to connection variable. So here, our MySQL database connection code is ready. Now we have go to text editor, and goes into roots directory. And here, we have to open index.javascript file, and this is root file of this Express application. Under this file, first we want to include database connection file. For make database connection, so for this, here we have to write database variable is equal to require function. And under this function, we have to define path of database connection file. So after including this file, it will be connect our application with MySQL database. Now we have goes into get root, which has been load index template file in the browser. Now we have goes into views directory, and we have to open index template file. First we have removed this code, and paste this HTML code with Bootstrap 5 library. Under this file, first we have to create one text box, so for this. Here we have to write input type is equal to text, and it is equal to autocomplete search. So we will convert this simple text box to autocomplete text box. Below this text box, for display auto suggest result, here we have to create one span tag with it is equal to search result, so search result will be display under this tag. Now we have goes to JavaScript code part, and here we have to create one function with name like load data, with one parameter like query variable. Under this function, we have to write Vanilla JavaScript Fetch API function. Under this function, we have to write /getData with question mark. And after this, we have to write search query variable is equal to query variable. So it will send Ajax request to this URL, and after this,
we have to write then function, and under this, we have to write callback function with response parameter.
Under this function, we have to write return statement. And after this, we have to write response.json function. So it will convert data into JSON format, and after this,
we have again write then function with callback function, which return data argument.
So this function will receive data from server in JSON format. Under this function, we have to write HTML variable is equal to unorder list with class is equal to list group. After this, we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write response data.length value is greater than 0, so if this condition true, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write for loop, and under condition, we have to write count variable value is equal to 0, count variable value is less than the value of response data.length. And count variable value increment by 1, so on every loop, it will fetch data from response data variable. Under this loop, we have to create one regular expression for replace match character with blue color. So here we have to write regular express variable is equal to new regular express class with 2 argument, so in first argument,
we have to write open and close bracket, and between this, we have to write query variable.
And in second argument, we have to write GI rules, which will skip first case sensitive. After this, we have to write HTML variable, and under this variable, we have to append HTML code like anchor tag with href is equal to #sign, and after this, we have to write class attribute is equal to list group item, and list group item action. Now in anchor text, we have to display country name, so for this, here we have to write response data variable with count index.country name. And now we want to display matched country name character with query variable character with blue color. So for this, here we have to write replace function with 2 parameter. In first parameter, we have to write regular expression variable. And in second parameter, we have to write span tag with class is equal to text primary and font bold class. And between this tag, we have to write $1, so it will replace matched character with blue color character. So on every loop, it will store auto suggest country name data under this HTML variable. Now we want to display auto suggest country list under span tag with its search result. So for this, here we have to write document.getElementByIt function, and under this,
we have to write span tag its search result, and after this, we have to write
inner HTML is equal to HTML, so it will display auto suggest result data under this tag. So here our function is ready. Now we want to call this function when we have typed something under search text box. So for this, here we have to write search element variable is equal to document.getElementByIt function, and under this function, we have to write text box id autocomplete search. So here, we have store text box property under this variable. Below this, we have to write search element.onKeyUp event. So when we have typed something under text box, then this block of code will execute. And under this, we have to write query variable is equal to search element.value. So here we have stored search text box value under this query variable. Now we have called load data function with query variable as argument. So it will send Ajax request to Node script and receive auto suggest country name data, which will be displayed on the web page. Now we have goes to index.javascript file, and here we have to create route for handle Ajax request. So for this, here we have to write router variable.get function with two parameter. In first parameter, we have to write /getData, and in second parameter,
we have to write callback function with three parameter like request, response and next.
Under this function, we have to write search query variable is equal to request.query.search query variable. So here, we have to store data in local variable. After this, we have to write query variable is equal to select country name from countries table, where country name like %, and after this, we have to write $. And after this, we have to write open and close bracket, and between this, we have to write search query variable. After this, we have to write limit 10. So here our query is ready for search country data. Now we want to execute this query. So for this, here we have to write database.query function with two parameter. In first parameter, we have to write query variable in which we have stored select query. And in second argument, we have to write callback function with two parameter like error and data variable. So this function will return filter country data, which we can get from this data variable. Now we want to send filter country data to Fetch API in JSON format. So for this, here we have to write response.json function. And under this, we have to write data variable, so it will convert data into JSON format. So here our code is ready. Now we have saved this code, and check output in the browser. So first we have goes to command prompt, and run this command. So this command will start Node server. Now we can check output in the browser. So here in the browser, we have typed localhost 3000 port number. And here on the web page, we can see one search text box has been displayed on the web page. Now we have start type country name, and under this text box. And after type first character of country name, and after type. Here below this search text box, we can see auto suggest list of country name. So when we have typed more character, then filter country list data has been displayed below text box. So from this auto suggest or autocomplete text box, user can select country name without type complete country name under this text box. So this is main benefits of this autocomplete or auto search text box. So without write complete country name, we can select country name from auto suggest country name and fill country name text box. So in this tutorial, we have learned how to make autocomplete text box in Node.js Express application with MySQL database.